Have you ever pondered why certain Amish elders remain robust and energetic well into their 90s? The key to their vitality may lie within their gardens and kitchens, where ancient knowledge converges with sound nourishment. These groups have maintained culinary customs that many in America no longer remember, cultivating and preparing their food using methods designed to enhance its health-giving properties. I'll present 30 such anti-aging foods utilized by the Amish for generations to retard the aging process. Heritage apples growing on gnarled trees and bearing fruits with peculiar names such as Roxbury Russet, Northern Spy, and Arkansas Black serve as veritable living museums in Amish orchards. These are no common apples. Research indicates these apples possess as much as 40% more antioxidants compared to the commercial types available in grocery stores. Every heritage strain provides distinct taste characteristics and health advantages, carefully preserved over generations of meticulous farming. Age-old pruning methods guarantee that developing fruit receives ample sunlight, naturally boosting vitamin levels without the need for chemicals. A significant number of Amish elders make it a point to consume these heritage apples each day. As one community member expressed it, modern apples are just water and air, dressed up in red clothing. Rather than relying on chemical sprays, beneficial insects control pests in a natural manner, preserving soil vitality and yielding fruit with a considerably greater nutrient concentration. These orchards foster a link to the wisdom of their ancestors, a living legacy that sustains both the individual and the collective. As remarkable as these apples are for promoting longevity, another treasure from the orchard offers something perhaps even more precious for individuals seeking tranquil sleep: sour cherries. Trees laden with ruby-red fruit yield summer harvests of what could be considered nature's ideal sleep aid in Amish territories. Sour cherries, which possess a more intense flavor than their sweeter relatives, contain natural melatonin that enhances sleep quality by 25%, a vital element for aging gracefully. Within Amish communities, households boasting cherry trees are readily identifiable. They are the homes where even the great-grandparents awaken before sunrise, feeling revitalized. Of course, the practices of hauling water and abstaining from electricity likely contribute as well. The strategic placement of orchards employs natural windbreaks to shield delicate spring blossoms from harm. Preservation techniques emphasize the maintenance of nutritional integrity. Low-temperature drying and natural fermentation processes secure both the flavor and the health benefits. These tart fruits are ultimately transformed into preserves, dried snacks, and medicinal concoctions, providing for families throughout the winter. Their anti-inflammatory properties aid joint health and cardiovascular function, which might explain why numerous Amish elders retain exceptional mobility. Beyond enhanced sleep and joint suppleness, a different type of berry offers extraordinary defense during the colder periods. Elderberries. Unassuming elderberry shrubs are regarded with uncommon respect in Amish gardens. They yield fruits containing a higher concentration of vitamin C than oranges and antioxidant levels that surpass even those of blueberries. Their immune-boosting capabilities render them indispensable elements of wellness customs. The cultivation of elderberries adheres to particular traditions within Amish communities. One such custom involves planting the initial bush so it faces the sunrise. When questioned about this method, seasoned gardeners merely state, "That's how they catch the most vitamins." Intriguingly, contemporary research corroborates that exposure to morning sun does indeed augment antioxidant development in many types of berries. The timing of the harvest depends on the meticulous observation of bird behavior, which signals peak ripeness. The berries are gathered just before they become overly tempting to wildlife, thereby guaranteeing maximum medicinal strength. In the winter months, these preparations frequently serve as alternatives to pharmaceutical treatments for seasonal ailments. Scientific validation now substantiates what Amish communities have known and practiced for generations. Elderberries possess compounds that effectively regulate immune function and lessen inflammation, both key factors in healthy aging. Another well-known orchard staple offers distinct advantages for the digestive and cardiovascular systems: pears. Resilient pear trees epitomize the Amish ethos of living in harmony, encompassing both human well-being and environmental care. These trees flourish without requiring constant human interference, much like the community's long-living elders. Amish wisdom concerning pear trees often imparts life lessons. A prevalent saying within the community is that pear trees need adversity to produce the sweetest fruit. Same goes for people. Those who've weathered a few storms develop the most character. From a nutritional standpoint, pears provide specific benefits for cardiac and digestive health. Their abundant soluble fiber aids in managing cholesterol levels and promotes digestive wellness, leading to the Amish adage that a pear after dinner keeps the doctor distant. Heritage varieties are perpetuated through natural grafting techniques that concurrently bolster disease resistance. Their care aligns with the rhythms of the seasons: winter pruning, spring grafting, summer thinning, and autumn harvesting, thereby establishing sustainable systems that yield fruit for generations without exhausting resources. In addition to these familiar European fruits, Amish gardens harbor something unexpectedly tropical, yet indigenous to American land: pawpaws. America's largest indigenous fruit may well be the most astonishing component of the Amish longevity larder. With an appearance somewhat like a cross between a mango and a potato, pawpaws deliver tropical tastes along with remarkable nutritional qualities. Their creamy interior contains distinctive compounds that support cellular well-being in ways not commonly found in typical fruits. Amish communities frequently recount tales of exceptional longevity associated with pawpaw intake. One often retold story speaks of a 104-year-old community member who consumed these fruits every autumn throughout his life. When medical researchers visited to investigate Amish health practices, they were reportedly amazed to discover such nutritional powerhouses flourishing wild behind barns. Traditional methods of pollination display an ingenious adaptation to this fruit's singular biology. Given that pawpaw flowers evolved prior to the arrival of honeybees in North America, small pieces of raw meat are hung in the trees to attract native flies, which then transfer pollen between the blossoms. Laboratory studies confirm what Amish communities have long understood: pawpaws supply more protein than most fruits, in addition to considerable quantities of magnesium, potassium, and antioxidants that aid muscle function and blood pressure regulation, critical aspects for aging healthily. The vibrant hue of certain berries is an indicator of their outstanding health-enhancing properties. The sole product we will ever endorse on our channel is a book by Claude Davis, an experienced prepper, detailing 126 superfoods and preservation techniques from periods of crisis such as the Great Depression and wartime, which are otherwise impossible to locate. We chose to promote his book because we represent the final generation capable of passing these methods and superfoods on to our children or grandchildren. It would be a profound loss if this knowledge about exceptionally nutritious foods and preservation strategies for surviving crises were to vanish. You can also locate a book on herbal remedies by Nicole in their store. If you are viewing this on television, you can search for our channel, Frugal Solutions, on your mobile phone or tablet and access the books by selecting the link in our channel description or any other video description. Black raspberries. Secluded valleys across Amish lands provide sanctuary for black raspberry patches, highly valued for their medicinal attributes. These darker relatives of the common red raspberry boast nearly 3 times the anthocyanins, potent compounds that combat cellular aging with remarkable efficacy. The cultivation of black raspberries in Amish gardens adheres to precise light conditions. These plants are usually situated where they can absorb morning sunlight while being shielded from the harsh afternoon heat. As a community proverb states, berries are like good advice. They prefer gentle warmth to scorching heat. Pruning is meticulously carried out following biennial cycles, guaranteeing ongoing fruit production without exhausting the plants. Particular soil enhancements, commonly wood ash from heating stoves and composted manure, establish mineral-rich growing conditions, thereby boosting nutritional development. These farming practices yield berries that are considerably more potent than commercially grown varieties. Although these dark fruits offer robust cellular defense, an even more concentrated source of beneficial compounds thrives nearby in numerous Amish gardens. Aronia berries. Unpretentious aronia bushes yield small, dark fruits whose effect on health significantly surpasses their humble look. Occasionally referred to as chokeberries, owing to their astringent taste, these indigenous plants possess polyphenol levels that, in terms of nutrition, outshine even the highly esteemed blueberries. The intense tartness of aronia berries frequently causes surprise, even within Amish communities. Nevertheless, their health advantages rapidly persuade any doubters. Accounts circulate about elders who regularly consume these berries and preserve extraordinary vitality well into their 90s, continuing to perform demanding physical activities like chopping firewood, which would be a struggle for much younger people. Strategic planting involves placing the bushes alongside companion plants, such as comfrey, whose deep taproots draw minerals from the lower soil layers. Attentive observation dictates the ideal harvest period, when the fruits acquire a slight softness yet retain their characteristic bloom. Their nutritional potency is at its zenith. This careful focus preserves food sources that modern nutritional science now acknowledges as outstanding for cardiovascular health. Among the thorny plants grown for their health benefits, another fruit provides different yet complementary nutrients: gooseberries. Dispersed throughout Amish properties, thorny gooseberry bushes stand as a testament to generations of nutritional insight. These plants bear fruits that transition from a vivid green to a purple-red hue as they mature, with each stage presenting distinct culinary and medicinal uses. Centuries of selective breeding have resulted in unique varieties not found in commercial farming. Within Amish communities, gooseberries are valued despite their prickly defenses. A common phrase uttered during harvest time is that gooseberries are nature's reminder that good things often come with a few prickles. Just like some of the most worthwhile endeavors in life, traditional pruning techniques ensure an open center in each bush, which enhances air circulation and naturally wards off fungal problems without the use of chemical agents. These berries can compete with citrus fruits in vitamin C levels, while also offering soluble fiber that aids digestive processes, a benefit particularly important as digestive efficiency naturally declines with age. Different varieties fulfill specific roles. The tartness of green berries makes them perfect for preserves, whereas ripened fruits provide sweeter choices for eating fresh. While gooseberries boost immunity via vitamin C, another berry retains specialized nutrients despite having faced legal restrictions: currants. Amidst the early 20th century prohibition on black currant cultivation, stemming from anxieties about white pine blister rust, isolated Amish communities discreetly safeguarded these nutritional gems. Their separate settlements preserved cultivation knowledge that might otherwise have been lost to American agricultural practices. Natural methods of disease prevention depend on strategic pruning to improve air circulation, complemented by companion planting with aromatic herbs that inherently repel problematic insects. The benefits of currant consumption are reportedly evident within Amish communities. A frequently shared humorous remark is that you can always tell which families have been eating their currants. They're the ones whose grandmothers still stand straight as fence posts. Their impressive vitamin K content promotes bone integrity, possibly accounting for the comparatively low incidence of fractures among elderly Amish individuals. The optimal harvest time occurs within a narrow period when the berries achieve a slight translucence, while retaining their firmness, thereby capturing maximum nutritional value. This diligent attention to quality and timing also applies to what is perhaps the most underrated tree fruit in American landscapes: mulberries. Lofty mulberry trees stand as quiet observers of Amish longevity, strategically planted near barns where generations have reaped plentiful harvests with minimal effort. These trees exemplify the community's forward-thinking approach, with varieties chosen primarily for their nutritional worth rather than commercial attractiveness. Their practical positioning fulfills several roles, providing summer shade for buildings while also dropping fruit that feeds both humans and livestock without requiring cultivation. A rich resveratrol content, the same compound that makes red wine advantageous, supports cellular health and extends life. Harvesting mulberries invariably leads to purple-stained hands. Amish communities have cultivated a sense of humor regarding this unavoidable outcome, with a saying that mulberry stains on fingers are the mark of a wise person. They also remark that explaining purple handprints on white shirts requires more diplomacy than settling a boundary dispute. Beyond tree fruits, colorful vegetables contribute similarly deep hues and health advantages to winter meals in Amish homes. Purple cabbage. Striking purple heads are prominent in Amish gardens during autumn, their rich color indicating exceptional nutritional value. These cabbages possess up to 7 times more vitamin C than their green counterparts, a distinction Amish gardeners noted long before laboratory analysis verified it. Traditional crop rotation methods avert soil exhaustion and naturally interrupt pest cycles without the use of chemicals. Composted oak leaves elevate soil acidity, thereby promoting the formation of anthocyanins, which are responsible for both the cabbage's color and its health benefits. An old adage in Lancaster County posits that purple cabbage was created for people in cold places. Only the good Lord would think to pack summer sunshine into something that keeps through winter. Another community saying observes that eating purple cabbage is like putting antifreeze in your body for winter, except you won't have to call a mechanic if you break down. Storage techniques are centered on nutrient preservation, with cool root cellars keeping the cabbages in good condition for months. The timing of the harvest is determined by careful observation. When the outer leaves start to loosen while the core stays firm, the nutrient density has peaked. These vibrant cabbages supply vital antioxidants during the winter months when fresh produce becomes scarce. While purple cabbage enlivens winter meals above ground, another colorful vegetable cultivates its remarkable qualities beneath the soil. Beets. Sweet, earthy beets are harvested from Amish gardens, offering notable benefits for circulation. The natural nitrates they contain enhance blood flow, which may explain why cardiac issues are relatively infrequent in many Amish communities, despite their often rich diets. The practice of double-digging garden beds results in loose soil, allowing roots to grow unhindered. Companion planting pairs beets with carrots and onions in configurations that maximize harvests while naturally reducing pest problems. Amish gardeners frequently observe that a beet that grows easily makes for easy blood flow later in life, although they concede that explaining red bathroom visits to small children still requires some delicate conversation. They also jest that beets are nature's way of checking if you're paying attention to your insides. They'll send you a colorful message about 24 hours after eating them. The understanding of the link between mineral-rich soil and cellular health informs their cultivation methods, with selection prioritizing vigor and disease resistance over aesthetic perfection. Local beet varieties, adapted to regional environments over generations, often boast higher concentrations of beneficial compounds than contemporary commercial strains. These root vegetables are easily stored throughout the winter, offering a consistent source of nutrition when fresh garden produce is unavailable. From subterranean roots to climbing vines, heirloom tomatoes stand as another repository of genetic diversity in Amish gardens. Heirloom tomatoes, hues reminiscent of sunset spread across late summer gardens as numerous tomato varieties mature on meticulously supported vines. Each type links present-day Amish families to their forebears, who safeguarded these seeds through centuries of farming. Distinctive fermentation methods are employed to separate and conserve tomato seeds, while also naturally eradicating diseases that could impact subsequent crops. Traditional staking practices, utilizing materials sourced from local woodlands, establish microclimates where each variety benefits from ideal growing conditions. The lycopene content differs considerably among varieties, with some having been developed specifically for their nutritional merit rather than for prolonged shelf life or visual appeal. Elderly Amish gardeners maintain that certain tomatoes ought to be consumed while one is standing in the garden. According to community wisdom, washing dirt off just dilutes the vitamins, though it does improve dinner invitations. They have also noted that an heirloom tomato and a store tomato are as similar as a family quilt and a paper napkin. One has history, character, and warmth. The other just gets the basic job done. Different varieties are suited for distinct preservation needs: paste types for sauces, succulent slicers for fresh consumption, and small varieties for drying. This pragmatic approach to preservation is applied to many garden staples, including winter vegetables specifically grown for extended storage under basic conditions. While summer-ripened tomatoes offer instant nourishment, large trailing vines nearby yield vegetables intended for winter sustenance. Squash. Expansive vines in Amish gardens yield winter squashes whose rich orange flesh supplies vital nutrients throughout the long northern winters. Numerous Amish gardeners plant seeds directly into compost heaps, where the heat from decomposition provides young plants with an early growth advantage. Traditional curing techniques involve careful exposure to sunlight, which transforms starches into sugars while also toughening the rind for prolonged storage. Their impressive carotenoid content promotes eye health and immune function, benefits that are especially valuable for aging individuals. Community wisdom asserts that butternut squash proves the Creator loves us through winter, though carving them without modern gadgets certainly tests that relationship. They also say, winter squash takes so long to cook because it's trying to teach you patience in the kitchen, a virtue that's harder to find than a straight nail in a recycled lumber pile. Sustainable farming methods enhance soil fertility annually, with squash frequently planted after nitrogen-fixing crops in rotational systems. Meticulous attention is given to the correct harvest timing. When the stems start to become corky and the rind can withstand pressure from a thumbnail, nutritional development has reached its peak. These storable vegetables deliver crucial vitamins when fresh alternatives are scarce, thereby supporting vision and immune function during the cold months. While these ground-dwelling plants offer winter nourishment, other garden staples actually enhance their nutritional value as temperatures fall below freezing. Kale and collards. Frost-kissed leaves of kale and collards continue to stand firm when most garden plants yield to winter's chill. Among Amish cultivators, these robust greens actually gain sweetness after frost converts their starches to sugars, all while preserving an impressive density of nutrients. Strategic planting near south-facing walls offers both protection from wind and thermal mass, which prolongs the growing period. Succession planting guarantees uninterrupted harvests as new seedlings take root while older plants near the end of their productive life. The calcium absorbed from carefully enriched soils fortifies bone integrity throughout the aging process. Selection methods prioritize cold resistance, with seed-saving efforts centered on plants that endure extreme temperatures yet remain productive. Garden wisdom suggests that kale is the vegetable version of our most reliable community members, looking better after surviving challenges that would finish lesser plants. Elders often jest that kale gets sweeter after frost, just like people get sweeter with age. Though in both cases, there are some exceptions that stay bitter no matter what. These frost-resilient greens supply fresh nutrition even when snow covers the garden, providing minerals essential for sustaining health during the winter months. While garden vegetables offer immediate nourishment, heritage grains in the adjacent fields link Amish communities to agricultural practices that extend back thousands of years. Spelt. Fields of ancient grains, including varieties like spelt, encircle many Amish communities, connecting contemporary farmers to agricultural customs documented in biblical times. Small-scale farming techniques safeguard genetic diversity that has been lost in commercial agriculture. Manual harvesting permits the selection of kernels specifically suited to local growing environments. Traditional crop rotation incorporates cover crops that enrich the soil and prevent erosion between grain plantings. The protein quality of spelt is notably different from that of modern wheat varieties, featuring more complete amino acid profiles and often proving more digestible for aging individuals. A humorous saying among Amish grain farmers proposes that spelt was certainly the grain Noah took on the ark. Though considering how long that voyage lasted, he should have packed more. They also observe that grinding spelt by hand builds character and arm muscles in equal measure, which is why Amish bakers rarely need to discuss gym memberships. Processing techniques maintain nutritional integrity, with stone grinding at cool temperatures preserving enzymes and oils frequently lost in commercial milling. This dedication to conserving nature's original design extends to plants valued for both their edible seeds and their practical uses. While grain fields supply staple foods, smaller plots harbor crops that yield concentrated nutrition in diminutive packages. Flax. Fields of golden flax shimmer in the summer breezes on Amish farms, yielding both nutritious seeds and useful fiber from the identical plants. Traditional farming methods display remarkable effectiveness, using various parts of each plant for several purposes. Precise harvest timing maximizes the omega-3 fatty acid content in the seeds, producing oils that promote heart health and lessen inflammation in aging bodies. In contrast to many commercial enterprises that concentrate solely on either seeds or fiber, Amish farmers usually harvest both from the same crop. Manual processing safeguards the delicate oils that would be harmed by high-temperature industrial techniques. Community wisdom notes that flax keeps joints moving smoothly, much like a well-oiled buggy wheel. When discussing the digestive advantages of flax seeds, Amish elders will remark with a knowing smile, "Add flax to your morning porridge, and your insides will run as smoothly as gossip through a quilting circle." Small-scale pressing methods extract oils without the damaging effects of heat exposure, thus preserving the nutritional integrity often lost in commercial processing. These seeds deliver vital plant-based omega-3s that contribute to maintaining supple cell membranes and reducing inflammation throughout the body. While flax seeds bolster cardiovascular health, another grain cultivated in Amish fields provides distinct benefits for fortifying the soil between main crops, while also offering nutritional variety. Buckwheat. Triangular seeds of buckwheat cover fields between main grain harvests on numerous Amish farms, offering both sustenance and vital soil enrichment. Despite its name, buckwheat bears no relation to wheat, rendering it appropriate for individuals with certain grain sensitivities. Its rapid maturation permits cultivation between primary crop cycles, thereby averting soil erosion and naturally controlling weeds. Pollinators are drawn to its delicate white blossoms, which aids honey production and enhances yields in adjacent fruit trees. The rutin content in buckwheat promotes blood vessel integrity and circulation, benefits particularly significant for sustaining cardiovascular health as one ages. Elderly Amish farmers assert that buckwheat pancakes stick with you all morning, unlike those fancy cereals that leave you hungry before reaching the end of the driveway. They also say that buckwheat grows so fast, it's the only crop you need to set your watch by. Plant it Monday, and by Friday, you'll need to duck when walking through the field. Traditional hulling techniques separate the seeds without compromising their nutritional value. This method of soil care produces food while concurrently improving the land for subsequent crops, a tangible illustration of sustainability practiced for generations before the concept became widespread. While buckwheat enhances soil and crop rotation, another heritage grain serves as a steady source of nutrition in their diet. Oats. Expanses of heritage oats surround many Amish communities, offering nourishment that bolsters heart health through their considerable soluble fiber content. Traditional varieties grow substantially taller than modern dwarf strains, possessing more extensive root systems that can access nutrients deeper in the soil. Small-scale threshing techniques separate the grain from the straw without diminishing its nutritional quality through excessive heat. The beta-glucan fiber in oats lessens cholesterol absorption, potentially playing a role in the comparatively low incidence of heart disease within communities that regularly consume these foods. A saying among Amish farmers suggests that oatmeal at breakfast means working until dinner without your stomach sending complaint letters. Another favored jest notes that eating oats every morning won't make you as strong as the horse, but you'll both be equally uninterested in those sugary store-bought cereals. Determining the ideal harvest period involves careful observation. When the grain reaches the soft dough stage, but prior to its full hardening, its nutritional value is at its peak. These traditional oats frequently contain a higher mineral content than modern varieties, which are bred mainly for yield rather than nutritional quality. The Amish philosophy of grain cultivation prioritizes quality over quantity, conserving varieties with superior nutritional profiles, even if their yields are somewhat lower. While familiar grains form the basis of their diet, some Amish farmers have started to explore ancient sources of nutrition that have been nearly forgotten in North America. Amaranth. Tall, purple-tinged amaranth stands alongside conventional crops in some forward-thinking Amish gardens, its vibrant seed heads containing nourishment that competes with many animal-based products. This ancient grain, formerly a dietary cornerstone for Native Americans, supplies complete protein encompassing all essential amino acids, a characteristic uncommon in most plant foods. Although not traditionally cultivated by Amish communities, certain farmers have embraced this drought-tolerant crop due to its outstanding nutritional composition and its capacity to flourish in demanding environments. Harvesting techniques have been modified for efficient gathering without the aid of modern equipment. The complete protein profile renders amaranth especially beneficial for individuals engaged in physical labor well into their later years. Community members observing these colorful plants often remark that amaranth looks like it belongs in an English flower garden rather than our fields. But anything that grows that vigorously while feeding us deserves respect. When discussing its distinctive appearance, they often say that amaranth is like that odd cousin who dresses too colorfully for church, but turns out to be the most helpful one when your barn needs raising. Prudent management prevents this robust plant from becoming invasive, with particular harvesting methods ensuring that seeds do not disperse unintentionally. While plant-based foods constitute the bedrock of Amish longevity diets, carefully managed animal products deliver complementary nutrition through traditional processing techniques. Raw milk. The sunrise summons Amish dairy farmers to their barns, where heritage cow breeds yield milk significantly different from commercial types. Unlike modern Holsteins, bred solely for high volume, traditional breeds such as Jersey and Guernsey produce milk richer in butterfat and with different protein compositions. Cattle breeding choices prioritize quality over sheer output, favoring animals that yield nutrient-dense milk from grass-based diets. Pasture management employs rotational grazing, regularly moving animals to fresh areas before overgrazing can happen. The enzyme content in unpasteurized milk facilitates digestion, which may explain why many individuals who have difficulty with commercial dairy products can comfortably consume these traditional forms. Stringent hygiene practices guarantee safety without resorting to heat treatments that degrade delicate nutritional elements. A common saying suggests that store milk is just the shadow of real milk, like comparing a photograph of sunshine to standing in the summer field yourself. Amish dairy farmers observe with a smile that good raw milk separates naturally, much like visitors who come to our community. The cream rises to the top while the tourists who just want photos tend to thin out quickly. These age-old dairy methods preserve beneficial fatty acids and living enzymes often lost in commercial processing. While raw milk offers immediate nourishment, carefully produced eggs are developed under similarly natural conditions in Amish farmyards. Farm fresh eggs. Speckled brown and blue-green eggs gathered from Amish chicken coops possess nutritional profiles markedly different from those of their supermarket equivalents. Movable chicken shelters enable the birds to trail grazing cattle, feeding on insects while naturally enriching the pastures in an elegant cooperative system. Hens forage through recently grazed land, breaking up manure piles and consuming insect larvae, thereby simultaneously enhancing pasture health and yielding nutrient-rich eggs. These pasture-raised eggs contain up to 3 times more omega-3 fatty acids and double the vitamin E of conventionally produced eggs. Their vivid orange yolks attest to a high carotenoid content, which is absent in pale commercial versions. Traditional feed supplements include ground oyster shells for calcium and fermented grains that improve protein absorption. As the Amish say, a good egg takes less time getting from chicken to breakfast table than most English people spend choosing an Instagram filter for their breakfast photo. They also point out that our chicken coops have better Wi-Fi reception than our homes. Of course, the Wi-Fi is the chickens telling each other when feed arrives. Sustaining laying flocks through the winter depends on passive solar housing designs and deep bedding techniques that retain natural heat. These time-honored systems yield exceptional food while integrating flawlessly with other agricultural components. Fresh eggs supply immediate protein, while a different dairy product offers specialized gut-friendly advantages. Cultured butter. Golden cultured butter, churned from raw cream, stands as one of the most concentrated sources of fat-soluble vitamins within the Amish diet. Traditional methods of cream setting permit natural separation without the use of mechanical separators. The slightly soured cream cultivates beneficial bacteria that not only improve flavor, but also enhance digestibility. Wooden butter churns, frequently passed down through generations, create optimal conditions for producing perfect butter. Many Amish households still employ hand crank models that can transform cream into butter in about 15 minutes. The characteristic tangy taste originates from beneficial lactobacillus bacteria, the same microbes that promote gut health. The butyric acid present in cultured butter aids in maintaining the intestinal lining, potentially accounting for the comparative infrequency of certain digestive ailments in Amish communities, despite their often rich diets. When visitors remark on the deep yellow hue compared to store-bought varieties, Amish butter makers often reply that our butter is so yellow because our cows actually met the sun in person rather than reading about it in a magazine. They might add, with a twinkle in their eye, you can tell good cultured butter by the way it spreads, reluctantly, like an old farmer sharing compliments. Techniques for washing the butter eliminate surplus buttermilk, which could lead to spoilage, without removing the beneficial cultures. This focus on preservation without modern refrigeration has led to methods that concurrently boost nutritional value. While butter supplies essential fats, another traditional concoction utilizes minerals derived from animal sources. Bone broth. Pots of simmering bone broth exemplify the Amish dedication to utilizing every portion of animals raised for sustenance. Long before the concept of nose-to-tail eating gained popularity, Amish cooks were transforming bones, joints, and cartilage into mineral-laden broths that promote joint health and aid digestion. Traditional slow-cooking techniques extract the maximum nutrition, typically involving simmering beef bones for 24 hours and chicken carcasses for 12 hours. This patient process releases calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and collagen compounds, which become increasingly bioavailable as cooking progresses. Research indicates these broths may lessen joint inflammation, possibly contributing to the mobility that many Amish elders preserve into their later years. Broth preparation often follows butchering days, when community members convene to process animals with efficiency. When neighbors remark on the rich scent of simmering broth, Amish cooks frequently quip that good bone broth should be strong enough that you could patch a buggy wheel with it. A common piece of kitchen wisdom states, bone broth and gossip have a lot in common. Both get richer the longer they simmer, but only one improves your health. Methods for clarifying and conserving broth employ natural settling and fat-capping techniques that uphold quality without refrigeration. These protein-rich liquids serve as the base for numerous meals while offering concentrated nutrition in an easily digestible format. This waste-minimizing philosophy extends to dairy processing, where byproducts themselves become valuable food items. Cottage cheese. Fresh cottage cheese, crafted from naturally soured milk, illustrates the Amish method of preserving seasonal plenty through straightforward fermentation. Small-scale production commences when raw milk naturally sours at ambient temperature, a controlled procedure entirely distinct from spoilage in pasteurized products. Gentle heating causes curds to separate from whey without harming the delicate proteins. Techniques for attaining the correct texture involve careful cutting patterns that yield consistent curd size without relying on modern machinery. The resultant product is rich in readily bioavailable protein and beneficial probiotics, which are absent in commercial alternatives. Its calcium content bolsters bone health throughout aging, a factor particularly crucial for elderly women. When questioned about the distinction between their cottage cheese and store-bought versions, Amish dairy makers often observe that store cottage cheese is about as exciting as watching paint dry. Ours has enough personality that you need to introduce it properly before eating. They also chuckle that making good cottage cheese is like raising children. You need to know exactly when to leave it alone and when to stir things up. Whey byproducts from this process become valuable components for baking bread and fertilizing gardens, thereby completing a cycle where nothing is wasted. This principle of conserving seasonal abundance also applies to vegetable fermentation, where cabbage is transformed into a probiotic-rich preserved food that enhances its nutritional worth. Sauerkraut. Crisp cabbage is transformed into tangy, probiotic-rich sauerkraut under the attentive supervision of Amish women who uphold fermentation customs passed down from their European forebears. Community-wide cabbage processing unites families in late autumn. When enormous crocks are packed with shredded cabbage and salt, no additional ingredients are needed. Traditional pottery crocks create ideal fermentation environments, sustaining stable temperatures while facilitating proper gas exchange. A straightforward 2% salt concentration fosters optimal conditions for beneficial lactobacillus bacteria, simultaneously inhibiting harmful microbes. The outcome is a food containing more vitamin C than fresh cabbage, along with billions of probiotics that promote gut health. These age-old methods yield living foods endowed with over 28 strains of beneficial bacteria, a diversity far exceeding that of commercial probiotics. Managing fermentation temperature entails relocating the crocks to various spots within the home as the seasons shift. When younger members of the community question the labor involved, elders often reply that good sauerkraut is like a reliable friend. It may be a little sour sometimes, but it always helps your digestion when you're in trouble. A common remark during cabbage processing days is that sauerkraut making brings the community together twice, once during preparation and again later when everyone's digestive systems work in harmony. This microbial variety may, in part, account for the lower incidence of autoimmune disorders noted in some Amish communities, despite their limited use of modern medical treatments. While fermented cabbage aids digestion, another fermented concoction serves both culinary and medicinal roles: apple cider vinegar. Bubbling crocks that convert autumn apple juice into tangy vinegar illustrate how Amish communities conserve the bounty of the harvest while concurrently producing potent remedies. Orchard management specifically includes the cultivation of vinegar apple varieties, often tart, high-acid fruits unsuitable for fresh consumption, but ideal for fermentation. Following an initial hard cider fermentation stage, mother cultures transform alcohol into acetic acid through natural processes that require only time and adequate air exposure. The vinegar produced contains beneficial compounds that aid digestion, help regulate blood sugar, and offer gentle antimicrobial properties useful for wound treatment. Its acetic acid content assists in preserving other foods while imparting complex flavors not found in distilled white vinegar. The completion of fermentation is determined by traditional means. When a clean eggshell can float in the liquid with a quarter-sized portion visible above the surface, the ideal acidity has been achieved. Amish vinegar makers often jest that apple cider vinegar has such a strong personality that even germs decide they'd rather not argue with it. During vinegar tastings, community members remark with a smile that good vinegar clears your sinuses faster than hearing the bishop is making surprise house calls tomorrow. This natural preservative merges antimicrobial qualities with probiotic advantages, yielding a substance that both prolongs food shelf life and supports digestive well-being. While orchard fruits supply many vital nutrients, wild harvests from woodland peripheries introduce different nutritional components into the Amish diet. Black walnuts, hand stained dark, identify which Amish families have been gathering black walnuts from trees that yield nuts with nutritional compositions markedly different from commercial English walnuts. Principles of forest stewardship direct sustainable harvesting, with families frequently nurturing relationships with particular trees across generations. Nuts that have fallen are collected in autumn, their green husks transitioning from green to black as they mature. Traditional hulling techniques include driving over the gathered nuts with wagon wheels to dislodge the tenacious outer husks, a task that invariably stains hands despite the use of gloves. The characteristic earthy taste derives from unique fatty acid profiles absent in commercial nuts. These fats bolster brain health and lessen inflammation throughout the aging process. Processing black walnuts demands considerably more exertion than commercial varieties, perhaps accounting for the community saying that the hardest shells hide the sweetest rewards, much like the most difficult neighbors often become the most loyal friends. During walnut processing periods, stained hands are an unavoidable consequence, prompting the observation that black walnut stains last longer than some marriages. Both require patience, but only one improves your brain health. Assessing nut quality before storage involves float tests. Properly developed kernels sink in water, while undeveloped ones remain afloat. This dedication to quality ensures that only nutrient-rich specimens are stored for winter consumption. While cultivated trees offer dependable harvests, genuinely wild plants provide distinct nutritional contributions. Ramps, wild leeks. The arrival of early spring sees Amish foragers venturing into woodlands to find ramps, wild leeks, whose strong flavor and medicinal qualities signal the conclusion of winter's lean times. Sustainable harvesting methods guarantee the continued survival of these plants, with communities diligently safeguarding patches that have been known for generations. Instead of harvesting entire plants, experienced foragers take only a segment of each cluster, permitting ongoing growth. These plants make a brief appearance before the tree canopies fully develop their leaves, their emergence providing essential fresh nourishment after the winter months of relying on preserved foods. Distinctive sulfur compounds promote cardiovascular health while also offering antimicrobial benefits that are helpful during seasonal changes. Pinpointing prime harvesting spots necessitates an understanding of forest ecology. North-facing slopes with abundant leaf litter beneath deciduous trees offer optimal conditions. Guidelines for harvest timing aim to strike a balance between peak nutritional value and the plant's reproductive requirements. Amish foragers often observe that ramps are strong enough that after eating them, you could have a private conversation in a crowded room. Nobody will want to stand close enough to hear you. A seasonal caution shared among community members notes that eating wild ramps before church service is considered an act of aggression. Even the most forgiving minister tests their faith when seated downwind. This potent spring tonic concurrently purges winter's sluggishness, while supplying fresh minerals absent from stored provisions. While subterranean bulbs offer potent remedies, the delicate blossoms of another plant provide different yet equally precious compounds. Elderflowers. Delicate, lacy white clusters of elderflowers emerge throughout Amish communities in late spring, possessing medicinal qualities distinct from their more widely recognized berry counterparts. Harvesting methods carefully ensure future berry yields by taking only a fraction of the flowers from each shrub. Gentle drying techniques preserve the volatile oils containing quercetin, a natural antihistamine that aids in alleviating seasonal allergy symptoms. These blossoms are considered one of nature's most potent fever reducers, frequently used as an initial treatment for children and the elderly. The timing of the elderflower harvest demands keen observation. They are gathered immediately after the morning dew has evaporated, but before the afternoon heat can disperse their essential oils. When discussing their medicinal strength, Amish healers often remark that elderflowers work so gently you hardly notice them working, like a good neighbor who shovels your walkway before you wake up after a snowstorm. During the elderflower harvest, community members note that the scent of elderflowers is so delicate you need to pay attention, much like good advice from elders that's easy to miss if you're too busy talking. Traditional elder wisdom advises that trees should always be offered thanks prior to harvesting, a custom that fosters a respectful bond with plants that supply both sustenance and medicine. This spiritual aspect mirrors the comprehensive Amish view of health, which regards food, medicine, community, and spiritual observance as interconnected facets rather than distinct domains. The tenets that inform these harvests illustrate how traditional ecological understanding cultivates sustainable connections with healing plants. The Amish do not pursue fleeting trends or depend on costly health solutions. They steadfastly adhere to real, time-honored foods. From berries and roots to raw dairy and fermented vegetables, every selection bolsters the body in natural, potent ways.